Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel on Hook Crochet with Jeannie. I wanted to show you Crystal today, who's wearing my pink velvet cardigan that we talked about in the previous video, but I thought she looked so pretty in that, and I dressed her up with a nice necklace from my jewelry box. Not expensive, but just costume jewelry. But she's looking very pretty in her pink velvet cardi. So I thought I would let her stand behind me today and model this while we talk. So let's start to find out what's on the hook. Alright, I am finished with this scarf. This is a finished object that I talked about a few videos ago, and it is the Nastasia scarf. Here's the pattern. This is Nastasia, trying to pronounce that correctly. She's from Europe. Seems to be a very, very sweet girl. I've seen a couple of her tutorials. And this pattern was free on her website. It is made with shawl and a ball. And the hook size is H. So it's kind of small. It's not too terribly small. Shawl and the ball says it's number 4. Not believing that. It's, you know, if it's a 4, I don't know. But it's really a 3. But it's a beautiful colorway. This is the blue that I actually showed this the other day. Look at this blue underneath here. It's even several shades of blue and then some white thrown in there. And when you get it crocheted up, this is what it looks like. And if you'll notice, it's not too stripy. It's got a little bit of dark along the edges. But this was quite easy to make. Now, I did admit, mea culpa, in the video where I talked about it, I had made a mistake with the directions. They're not difficult. I don't know how or why it happened. But I did not make the V on the scarf as dramatic as hers. And it's because at the beginning, which is up here at the top, I started working on it. And when it came to the V, I blew past it a couple of times and I didn't do my double crochet, 2 chain double crochet in the middle of the scarf where you put it. That's what makes the V. As you go along and do 11 rows, then by the end you have a pretty substantial V. Well, mine is not as substantial as hers. If you'll take a look at that again, hers comes way down in the front. Now, the good thing about the mistake that I made, and today we're going to talk about mistakes because I make a lot of them, but how to cut your losses, and I think that's a good theme for this video. I crocheted this scarf and I got to right about here, and I decided that I had done it wrong, and I counted my stitches and they were incorrect, and I realized that I hadn't done the V correctly. So I thought, I'm just going to finish this scarf, and so I did. I finished it and I did all the rows it called for, and I finished it, and it looks great. I love it. I don't have any problem with it. But the good thing about the mistake that I made is that somehow or other, not having the V up here and having the V here allows me to wear it up a little bit higher on my neck. And I like that, especially for fall and winter, spring, not necessarily summer, but I do like, you know, things that fit my neck, not necessarily come way up here, but that fit my neck. And this is perfect. I can't believe how lucky I got making that mistake. So sometimes it works out. Now, and I'll talk about that in just one second, but I want to show you what I did to the end of it. It was just plain. There was no finishing on the end, and it was just kind of just out there as a square, a rectangle. So I crocheted 1 row along the bottom in a little kind of a modified picot. It's just 3 chains and a single crochet packed in there pretty tight. I mean, I did 2 inside each row end and 1 in each corner of the end. So it's pretty tight in there. But you know, it turned out really nice. I love the edge of it. It gives it a little bit of a flounce there, but it's not too garish. And this side looks, you know, exactly the same. So I did it that way. So I'm very, very pleased with this. It was very simple, and if a beginner was paying attention and followed directions like they were supposed to, this is the way it would look, and it would turn out really, really nice. So I suggest it. in shawl and a ball. And I'm trying to think if she actually called for shawl and a ball, or if I just, no, she called for sport weight yarn, which is shawl and a ball, basically, according to the way I feel about it. And this is how much I had left, practically a whole ball. I mean, it just didn't use much at all because most of it's done with chains and double crochet. So it's really, really easy and it goes fast. And apparently it turns out pretty well if you use a sport weight yarn, a VK, or a shawl and a ball yarn. This is probably what you'd end up with, and I really, really like it. I may, as I said before, make it again, do the V the way it's supposed to be done, and then I'll show it to you at that point. I might get a lighter color sport yarn to do it in or something like that, so maybe for summertime. But this is actually very cool. I've been wearing it around for a while, and it's not hot on my neck at all. So back to making mistakes, which I do a lot of. I'll show you a mistake that I made, and when you cut your losses, that means you just stop crocheting and move on. And I think sometimes we don't do that. We finish, and then it's a mistake. But in this case, it wasn't. But it wasn't a huge investment in time either, because this didn't take long to make at all. But I found this pattern, and I won't say where I got it, because I just don't understand it, honestly. But it's called a cowl. But when you start making it, I made it out of this amazing yarn by Lion Brand in the brown colorway. And the chains to start, look how long this thing is. Okay, it wouldn't be bad if it was designed to wear twice around your neck like this. But once you start it, the chain that you start on is here, and then you continue to crochet out this way. So it's not going to get even. It's not going to be even when I finish crocheting it. Like if you crochet this much and then the pattern tells you to go back and crochet on this side, that'd be totally different. But you continue to crochet on this side and then you wrap around your head somehow, and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to be wearing that. So why would I continue to crochet it? And it's a beautiful stitch. I mean, it turned out really pretty. It's a really pretty stitch. Very open, lots of lace looking things there. But I'll tell you what, I went to frog it because I thought, well, I'll frog it and I'll just make another one of those cows out of this, which I just dearly love, from Crystal at Bag-A-Day, the Walk Through the Meadows cow. And I went to frog it, and it absolutely will not frog. It's got a huge halo on it, and the halo is all tangled up in there. So there won't be any frogging going on with this. So as much as I hate to, I think I'm going to just have to throw that away. And I can't even believe that I would do that and spend all that time on there. But you know, if I continue to do it, I'm not going to like it. So what I call this is time to cut my losses. So I'm cutting my losses on that. Another example. In a previous video, I talked about this cotton yarn that I had bought, and I decided I was going to make a sweater out of it because it was all cotton. I thought, wow, that'll be super duper. So I started crocheting, and I crocheted and crocheted and crocheted on this this sweater. I even seamed up the shoulders and everything. Check that out, okay? That's a white sweater right there, but it has no drape at all. Look how stiff it is. It could probably stand up by itself. If I let go of it, it would probably stand up right here. Anyway, it was done in treble stitch. I was really being all fancy and everything, and when I just didn't even realize it because I wasn't very experienced, and I kept this for a lesson to myself, that when you make something and you realize it's not going to be what you think, either stop right then or frog it and do it again, or whatever it needs to be done to make it right, because you've invested all of your time in this project, and you don't want it to turn out like this, which was, you know, a decent fit, but it was absolutely too stiff to wear. And I was very disappointed because I spent a lot of time on that. But what are you going to do? You cut your losses. And I may frog that because there's so much yarn in it, and then I may not. I can't decide what I'm going to do. I really don't know what I'm going to do. So that's my lesson for today. Cut your losses, and if you make a mistake, try to fix it. And if you can't fix it, stop working on your project and make a decision about what you're going to do. Because again, you're spending a lot of time on this project and you don't want to waste your time and then end up saying, oh, I just hate the way this looks. Oh, it's too stiff. Oh, there's no drape. Oh, the stitches are too wide. The pattern's not the right measurement. Find that out before you finish it. That's my advice. And I'm taking my own advice because with this cowl, I am done. I'm not going to go any farther on that because if I do, I'll be absolutely wasting my time just to finish a project. So that's my advice for today, and I hope you'll join me tomorrow to find out what's on the hook.